Okay, here we are. UX Career Journey Part 7. The last time I did this was in December. It is now March. It's March 16th. And I'm not much closer than I was in December to anything. I've not really been applying to jobs. I took a nice break in January and part of February because I was kind of getting burned out in the search and my efforts were not going anywhere. And I was kind of seeing the same thing with my peers. More on that in a minute. Let's talk about the current job. I'm currently working in a warehouse. I drive a variety of powered industrial vehicles, moving material all over the place. And I hate it. It's a job that I have done on and off for 20 some years. And to make matters worse, it's not really paying the bills. When I started, there was a lot of overtime and it was fine. Now I'm looking at my budget and my income versus my spending, and it's like right there. It's so close. I need to have more money coming in, or I need to cut my spending, and there's not much left to cut. This past Friday, they actually gave people the option to go home, and apparently they have not done that in like 20 some years or 25 years. However long this place has been open, they've never said, okay, work's kind of light today, you can go home. And that happened on Friday. So sometimes there's the option to work overtime, but it hasn't been mandated like when I started. We were working overtime for like 3 months. Now we're not doing that. Also, the place is closing in April of 2025. So I need a new job in the next year. Sooner would be better. So, prospects. I'm seeing fewer job opportunities, and that's frustrating. The ones that I do see are rarely for juniors or associate designers. I'll take a senior UX design position, that's fine. I just know that that's not really who I am, but I think I could fit into a lot of different roles, and I don't want to kind of spray and pray. I've kind of been trying to do a targeted job search, so maybe that's why I'm not seeing all the opportunities. Maybe I need to be less picky. But most of what I've learned up to now is that the targeted job search tends to work better. The problem is, most of my experience is in logistics. I don't really want to be in logistics. So I'm taking a little bit of a break. I am getting some other freelance projects going. I'll talk about that more in a second. I'm also seeing more UX designers with lots of experience get laid off. I just accepted a friend request from someone who's been doing this for over a decade, has worked from very notable companies, and is now, looking just like I am. And I'm competing with all these other people who have been looking for a while or are just getting laid off and have tons of experience. So it feels like most of the time the best use of my time is not necessarily job searching, but either upskilling or networking or working on freelance stuff. And I really don't want to become a full time freelancer, but I might take on more freelance stuff for the experience and the money. Let's talk about projects. I just finished a freelance project for a local nonprofit. It was nice that they were able to pay me. There were quite a few constraints. The time was an issue. I think we started towards the beginning of January. They wanted it done by the end of February. We managed to pull that off. They wanted it done on WordPress. They went off and bought the hosting and did the WordPress themselves. I think originally they thought they were going to do it all themselves and got into it and said, okay, maybe this is more than I want to do. So I came along. They're already into a WordPress platform. That's what they're kind of budgeted for. And I used the new, the Gutenberg to kind of tweak an existing theme for them. I haven't shared it with anyone yet. Maybe I'll do a case study where I make note of the constraints, or like this is a project that had some serious constraints, and like this is what they were, and this is why the site looks this way. Very difficult to do a mobile first website with WordPress. That being said, a lot of their members of this organization, it's a local gardening group, a lot of them are older and not accessing web pages on their phone. They're doing it on a desktop. And to be fair, that's how my grandparents are using the web. They're sitting down at a computer looking at the internet. They're not on their phone doing web pages like that. So I might share that at some point. If I have time, I might maybe surprise them with a design update. They never had a website before, so there's no even metrics to say like, well, now this website's performing this much better or working for them. So this is a from scratch. They never had anything. So maybe sometime down the road, I'll revisit that. And since they're a nonprofit, maybe I'll just volunteer some time to make some tweaks. I have another possible project on the horizon for an artist acquaintance. They wish to remain anonymous, which has some tricky things because there's an e-commerce factor to it. The pay is not great, but the project is interesting. But there's also a super tight time frame. So this might be an instance where I develop a bare minimum MVP, and we're talking, maybe another WordPress site with a default theme. I'm not sure yet, or something just super basic. I know the blogging and content management is something that's going to come into play with this as well. So that might be something I do quick and dirty to get it ready by the end of April, and then hopefully revisit later. It might also be something I say I can't do, but here are some other people who could do it. But like I said, they want to have this up and going by April, and we're in the middle of March. So who knows? Other project that's going on right now, and this is maybe where my priorities should be, but I'm starting to get burned out a little bit. I'm studying for the Series 65 license. If you're not aware what that is, it is a license that allows you to offer investment advice for a fee. And I'm not necessarily interested in doing that for a living, but I'm hoping that getting that license will maybe open up some doors in some finance type jobs where I can get some experience in the financial industry. Maybe that will make me a better candidate for a fintech UX product designer. Also, there's a very interesting, the way the law is written is that you can't really offer financial advice, even very, very basic advice. Like if you say, well, you should have an IRA or you should do this in terms of an investment, unless you're a registered advisor. You just have to find different ways to word it. So sometimes people, the workaround is like, this is what I do with my investments or something like that. If you read a lot of articles on this, a lot of times in the fine print it says this is not financial advice, and that's because that person's not a registered financial advisor. So there's a lot of interesting rules around that, and part of the reason I decided to pursue this and possibly register is a personal finance project that I'm working on for I don't know if it'll be a portfolio piece or something that gets shipped. There are some other people I've talked to who are kind of interested in working with me on this. Something that I'm kind of passionate about that I would love to work on, even if I can't get a job in fintech. I just feel like there's a lot of resources for personal finance if you say I need to know more about this. Like you can go, there's lots of books. People aren't reading books anymore. And I'm realizing like I think the thing that's taken me a long time to learn is I will do a lot of things for myself. I will go and read a book. I will go and figure a thing out. And a lot of people would rather pay someone or something to hold their hand through a process. I will spend 2 hours reading about electrical code so that I can add sockets and switches and outlets to my house without calling an electrician. And I'm comfortable doing that. I get why other people aren't. So I have to remember that other people don't think like me and that there's a benefit in making a product that helps people with their finances that's not just here, go read a book. So I'm working on that, and that's kind of where the Series 65 comes into place because it might be a situation where I end up registering so that as part of the platform, you can offer some advice. There's an interesting thing with registered investment advisors that you can register with the SEC versus the state if you have an interactive website. And the benefit in that is sometimes the registering with the SEC is cheaper than registering with the state. And also, you can then, I believe, serve more states or all the states. There's a lot I still have to learn, so like don't quote me on any of these things. I'm just learning. Let's keep rolling though with the progress. So, what has to happen for me in the next couple of months? One is I need to increase my income or decrease my spending based on the job I have now. First thing around that that's obvious is get a new job, get a better paying job. Now, where I live, working an on site job, there aren't going to be very many roles out there that pay a lot more than I make now. That's just the reality. I am about 80 minutes from downtown Chicago on a good day. Maybe I have to suck it up and commute over an hour to work again. I don't want to do that. My dad drove from Sheridan to O'Hare for I don't know how many years. And it was just the thing you did. If you live in the middle of nowhere, it's like you have to drive to where the jobs are. Like the benefit is you have that lower cost of living where you are, but now you got to drive farther to get to where that better paying job is. Other things I'm doing, I'm just putting things on eBay. I've got a Nintendo Switch I'm going to sell. I've got probably some guitars, some other things that I'm just plain not using. And I'm going to do this a little bit over time. I talked to my sister about having a joint garage sale in May or June. And two benefits, extra income plus just getting rid of 11 years worth of stuff in my house. Other options for more income. My side hustle with art is still up and going. I haven't really done much with advertising or marketing. I got some new screens to screen print with. I've made some upgrades to my studio that I'm excited about. I have been experimenting with short form video on social media, mostly on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. I think YouTube's time length is like a minute, so they're the most strict. I'm not really married to any of them. I kind of hate social media in a way, like I think a lot of us do, and it's just kind of become this necessary evil if you have something to sell or market. It's like that's where you go. I just watched a video about how like you have to go where the attention is. But I haven't had a lot of time to this. I think right now the Series 65 is my priority. The other potential thing, and this is just a thought, it's not something I'm seriously considering, is I thought, well, I could sell my house, right? I have a really low mortgage right now. Anywhere I go is going to cost more to rent, almost certainly. But then I don't have to worry about lawn care, snow removal, appliance repair, any of those things, right? That like right now I have to replace the front steps on my house. I started adding up the materials. It's going to cost me $1,000 in materials to do this. I'm going to end up doing it on my own, probably with help from my father. We're going to, dig holes, pour concrete, put posts in, all that stuff. It's nice to know how to do this and save yourself a buck. But if you're a renter, you never have to do that. And if you make enough money, you can just pay someone to do that. But that's not where I'm at now. So, yeah, it's just a thought. I thought, I could sell my house, I could pay off all the debt I have, and still have money left over. There are sacrifices there. I'm probably not going to have a print studio or a drum set. Probably won't be able to play guitar as loud as I like. Things like that. But it is a thought. You have to think, what is the most important thing? What are you willing to give up to get there? And those are the questions I'm kind of asking myself. What's the most important thing? Some other things that have to happen on a personal level. I've got to work on my physical health. I have an appointment soon to get my elbow, back, and knee looked at. These things have just been compounding, and maybe it's part of getting older or just not exercising enough. I tend to do this thing where I say, okay, I'm going to get into shape now. And then I go all out and I hurt myself. So I need to get out of that practice. I need to get these things that hurt fixed. I'm clearing some space in my basement to exercise. If I sell the house, I won't have a basement, but anyways. And I also need to work the house. I need to fix some windows, the window glazing. I need to fix the front steps already mentioned. That has to happen even if I sell the house. I couldn't sell the house with the way the front steps look right now. Like I'm not going to fall through them. They're getting worse. What I'd like to happen, I'd like to feel like I had time to do the things that make life worth living. I feel like right now I'm in such a survival mode, and I feel like I've been in this survival mode for a very long time. There have been a couple weekends here and there where I've made some time to socialize, but they're kind of few and far between. And I feel the same way about working on my own stuff, my own artwork, my own music. I hope I can get back to that, and maybe I just have to be more consistent or stubborn about carving out that time for myself. It just feels like when I do have time off from work or off from maintaining the house or just, making meals, doing laundry, all the other dumb stuff you have to do to survive, it feels like I need to be using that extra time to improve my situation, right? So that's a thing I'd like to happen is, better work life balance, right? That's what we all want. So I guess that's the end of it. Let's sum things up. I'm gonna keep my nose down at work, keep doing the job, keep getting paid. I'm gonna finish the Series 65 stuff, hopefully in the next, I don't know, 3 to 5 weeks. And I'm gonna try to avoid burnout, and I'm gonna do some of those things that make life worth living, and I'm just gonna have to find a way to make the time to do it, right? So that's my UX career journey, part 7. Maybe 10. Is 10 where I'm going to have the job and I'm going to celebrate? We'll see. Maybe 8. 8 would be nice. Thanks again for watching. Stay tuned. I appreciate all the support and comments. We'll see you later.